Maybe help hit the wedge. Oh, that's ice. Hey, I'm Handyman Dan with You Can Build This, and we are back in the mountains. I cannot believe it. We weren't planning to come back up this year, but my oldest son said that we were running low on logs. So we were up at this same location a few weeks ago, and it was beautiful, fall colors everywhere, and now this. Covered in snow, but that's not going to stop us from having an awesome time today. In this video, we're going to show you how to cut down a tree using the key notch method. It's a little bit of a different method, and we don't technically need to use it up here. This method is really good for when you have a more restricted environment. Let's say you've got a tree and you've got maybe some structures on either side of it, and you need it to fall in an exact spot. The wedge method is good at getting your tree to go into a general direction, but the key notch method is better at guiding your tree into the direction and location that you want. A lot of people use the wedge cutting method because it takes less time, but even experienced loggers have a hard time predicting exactly where the tree is going to fall. The drop range for the wedge cutting method is quite a bit larger than the drop range for the key notch method. Another reason why it's really good is that you start up above the ground quite a bit more, maybe like 36 inches. I would have been able to protect like a fence or keep a sidewalk from getting smashed or something else. You don't want to count on that every time by any means, but this is a good way to get your tree to fall and not worry so much about it breaking something underneath it. The only con about this technique is that I've got a lot of pressure on this. I'll have to cut going up because if I cut going down, then it's going to bind to my saw. I've kind of scoped out the area a little bit to see which trees are around. I was looking for a lodgepole pine tree, but I don't really see many that are dead. I do see a lot of fir trees, which we try not to cut down just because they don't split as easy. But I think there's one up here that's pretty decent size and it's pretty straight. So we're gonna go check it out. And the nice thing about this tree, if we decide to take it, is that it's really close to the road. So if I can drop it parallel to the road, it's gonna make loading our truck much easier. So I think this is gonna be a good tree. We'll get to test the key notch method to see how good I am at dropping a tree at a specific spot. One thing you do want to make sure is when you're working in the snow, it presents a whole nother level of safety that you need to follow. A lot of times when the tree is falling, you want to run out of the way quickly. We just want to make sure that we're running in a direction and have a clear path so that we don't fall because of the snow or the ice. So I brought some spray paint so you could see better how to orient your cuts with the key notch method. And I'm going to just mark out the tree real quick. I want the tree to fall that way. So I'm going to start out by painting a notch on here. You want it to start out higher. So here's the center line of my notch. I'm going to cut my wedge right here and go straight in. And that's going to be my pivot point right here. I'm just going to follow the center line around. Now on this back side, I'm going to go down. This is our key that I just drew. We need the key to go all the way through the tree. And then when I get to the bottom, I'm going to cut out this little rectangle. That way, when the tree starts to fall forward, it's going to have space underneath it for the key to rotate through the tree. If I didn't cut out this rectangle on the bottom, when the tree starts to fall, it'll actually push itself out of the notch. So first I'm going to cut that, and then I'm going to come back and cut these through. These are going to be plunge cuts all the way through the tree. I'm going to cut this rectangle out, and then I'm going to come on the front. Oh! It's very slippery. Then once my plunge cuts come all the way through the tree, hopefully they're going to be somewhere around here. At that point, I'm going to come back and finish off my wedge, but I'm only going to cut off the wedge outside of my key right here. That way it'll keep the meat on my key, but the wedge will be cut out around it. After I have the bottom portion of my front wedge cut out on both sides, I'm then going to come back starting at the edge of my key on the left. I'm going to cut all the way up to roughly the middle of the tree. This is my stopping point. I'm only going to cut up to here because then this meat is going to be what acts as the hinge for the tree to fall down. I could put a wedge right here, and then I'm going to come back on this side and do the exact same thing to make sure to only go towards this center point on the back side of the tree. The other really nice thing about this location, as far as safety is concerned, when my tree starts to fall, I'm planning to run this way. There's not a lot of snow right here. It's flat. I've got this other tree to somewhat protect me. I'm not thinking that it's going to fall that way, but it's always better to be safe than sorry with cutting down trees. Let's get suited up with our chaps. All right, this is actually a great spot to get all my stuff set up. I'm gonna put my maul back here. my wedges. I like to bring a splitting maul with me when we chop down trees because on the back end it's got a blunt side, so it acts like a hammer, so I can use it to pound in my wedges on the back of the tree. The intent here is you can still see the tree that I'm going to cut down. It's got the white spray paint right here, and you can see our truck in the background. My kids are sitting in there while I felled this tree. I want it to fall right in this groove right here, right parallel with the road. If you're interested in learning more DIY techniques, make sure to subscribe to our channel and also sign up for our weekly newsletter. I forgot to cut down some of these branches. That's good enough right there. Now, I really hope that my chainsaw can reach all the way through that. Okay. Oh, okay. Now this is not the optimal situation. My chainsaw isn't long enough to go through this tree, so I had to cut off about 2 or 3 inches off the face so that I could see the rest of my notch. So now we're going to come and cut off the rest of this notch on the front left and the notch on the front right. Now you can see our key is still intact and we finished cutting the wedge on both sides. And now all that's left to do is come and back cut. Again, I only want to cut maybe 1/3 into the tree on both sides of my key on the back. I heard it cracking. Maybe help hit the wedge. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Woo! Okay, not gonna lie, that's a little sketchy. Maybe I needed some thicker wedges or something. But as you can see, that was like dead on right there. That was awesome. I am so pleased with the way that this went. It fell exactly how I wanted it to. Right next to the road. Even though I was on a hill, it still stayed within its groove. I love this technique. It's so cool. There's 2 cons with cutting down the tree like this. One is it probably took me twice as long to do versus the typical wedge felling method. And 2, now my tree is up off the ground and there's a lot of tension in it this way. Instead of cutting down to try and get some rounds out of this tree, I'm gonna have to go up. Otherwise, when I cut down, it's gonna bind my saw. Now, if this trunk wasn't very structurally sound, I probably wouldn't recommend this because it'd probably fracture the base and it would cause the tree to go in whatever direction. But overall, this was an awesome technique. Now we're gonna process it and take it home for firewood. Whoa, careful. Looks like this other tree had its branches intertwined with this one, so it came out too. It came out at the base though. We definitely got a full load from that tree. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.